bass line is kicking this morning.
It always gets it where, Ed, you know what? Spoiler for later in the show. That song is very fitting because of what it evokes when we get to our favorite 91s.
There you go. There you go. Welcome everyone to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I am one of your hosts, and to my right is a man who is definitely not DMing OF models. Dustin Henry. Dustin, how we doing today?
I have a feeling if I DM'd any of them, I'd be left unread. So, but I'm doing all right, Ryan. I'm doing all right. And I got to tell you a quick story before I ask how you were doing. I missed Seahawks sessions last night because I was doing family things. I was out watching my nephew sing at Springfield College. He's in an a cappella group. It's very cool. They're a club. They run it themselves. They did a great job for their winter concert. But during the concert, Ryan, they had, first of all, shout out to his rugby team. They showed up for him. They were cheering. But in the show, Ryan, they had a segment. They had two MCs that hosted the show, and you could tweet. You could tweet things, and you could use a special hashtag, and they would find it and search it and read it on stage. And so I decided after one of his songs, I was like, I'm going to tweet. I'm going to use the hashtag. And I have to admit it, I had an intrusive thought in the moment. I almost put, also, check out No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. because I figured they would have to read it.
Hey,
but I
listen,
had...
if Triple H and his family were there, we were like, hey, we got to check out that show.
But
time to play the game.
But I thought the better of it. I was like, I can't. This is not the time nor the place. But after the show, Tracy was like, you should have done that. So you know, maybe for their spring concert, maybe I'll do it.
There you go. Maybe you'll bring out the water bottle and the leather jacket and do what Triple H used to do.
But how are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. You know, I mean, yesterday I had the day off, but I was working on some other things and had some big trades in the NHL yesterday. One of them involving your Edmonton Oilers.
I know. I saw that. I got to catch up on the trade. I don't know much about this Pittsburgh goalie, to be fair.
So I'll lay a little bit I'll lay a little bit into you. So I'll lay about news on you. Sorry.
All right.
So Tristan Jarry, he's having a decent season this year. He's 9-3-1 in 13 games. Decent numbers. You know, I mean, he's been been on what you could arguably call an aging Penguins team. He's 30 years old in himself. So, but all I can tell it's expiring contracts and a future second round pick for 2 years of Tristan Jarry and a minor leaguer who was a former first round pick of the Penguins. So,
okay.
So,
all right.
But it's interesting that the contract ends for Tristan Jarry when Connor McDavid's contract ends in 2 seasons. So
I did see that because Connor, as I said, Connor's contract was basically, hey, you got 2 years to figure this out.
Yep.
And then I'm gone.
And then I'm going to Anaheim.
And and I feel like I've been vocal about it. They had to make a trade. They had to do something at goalie too, because Stuart Skinner, he's good enough to get you to the cup, but he's not good enough to get you over the hump. And we saw it the last few runs in the playoffs. Calvin Pickard came in and was big for big chunks because Skinner, when he's on, but he has these meltdowns. He has these meltdown games, and happy for what he did for the Oilers, but let's see if this new goaltender can steady it a little bit, because the Oilers, they're scuffling. I think they're ranked 23rd right now. The last I checked the standings, they got to get it together.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, you got trade deadlines coming up too in late February, early March, and look, it's a long season. Anything can happen. We saw what happened a couple of years ago when they fired who was it? Todd McClellan.
Yes, McClellan, and they brought in Nobby.
And they went on that streak, that winning streak that was special, and they got them to it helped propel them to the Stanley Cup final that year. So hey, And last night, Quinn Hughes from Vancouver gets traded to the Minnesota Wild, which I reported on Belly Up Sports on the feed. I got a couple facts wrong, so I got to apologize for that. I was kind of in a hurry. Also, I was cold because I was recording this outside in a hallway. So,
oh man, that's commitment, everybody. That's commitment to the cause.
Is not going to be happy when I say that, but look, listen, I tried my best to get the facts as much as I could. I should have written them down. I apologize. I didn't realize that one of the players was actually in a Minnesota Wild uniform. I thought he was still at the University of Denver, but no. But Quinn Hughes, he was traded from Vancouver to Minnesota for, I'm trying to remember this now, Marco Rossi, defenseman, forward Zeev Buium, an Israeli American, which is super cool.
Oh yeah,
University of Denver. And minor leaguer Liam Ogren, as well as a 2026 first-round draft selection for that belongs to Minnesota. So Vancouver gets a nice haul, but Minnesota gets for at least 2 years, for at least 2 seasons, one of the best puck-carrying defensemen in the National Hockey League. And I know I'm going to say, all right, so Devils fans, I'm going to talk you down from the ledge. I'm okay that he didn't go to New Jersey because they would have had to pay a lot more. Also, in 2 seasons, Dougie Hamilton's expiring aging contract ends. They can sign Quinn Hughes then. And from what I understand, from what I've heard, I don't know this for sure, but he's not interested in signing a 2-year an extension with Minnesota.
So it's
still wants to join his brothers. He still wants to join his brothers in New Jersey before his career ends. So that's what I'm hearing. I'll have to confirm. I'll have to get some information from my buddy Jersey Jim Behringer, who's been a guest of this show a few times. So maybe I'll have to do a 10 good minutes with him. Talk about these trades.
That would be cool. That would be cool. And maybe Ryan, we got some stuff cooking up for 10 good minutes. I mean, I know you've got some special segments starting with Gaz shortly. You got the great graphics out there for him. The one you did for me on the show, that one still haunts my dreams. So hopefully, but maybe we'll talk a little bit. We'll have our post-holiday production meeting, and we can talk a little bit about 10 good minutes. I know you've got some great stuff planned, which you've talked about before. Yeah. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, do it.
Do it. Do it.
As Chit says, do it, lady.
Or as the Emperor would say, do it.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get to our main topic now that we've gone about almost 10 minutes talking about hockey. But we're gonna talk about the NFL. Talk about the Falcons' shocking win that has huge implications in one of the NFC divisions. We're gonna talk about what we're looking forward to and not looking forward to in the NFL this week in Week 15. We're at Week 15 already, Dustin.
This is unbelievable.
We're gonna reveal our picks for the Cut the Breaks Pick'em Challenge. I got some ground to make up for myself, and hoping these picks will do. And we'll talk about our favorite athletes to wear number 91. But before we do that, we just want to remind all y'all to please follow us. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. You can also find more of our podcasts and written content at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, hit the subscribe button wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and our host, which is Podbean, Freshly Brewed Podcasts. And hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube so you know when shows go live, when we have show announcements, and when we have clips of our show that go up. I posted a clip from our last show about the New York Jets defense and how they're allergic to turnovers yesterday afternoon. So go check that out. Also, we are on the Belly Up Sports Twitter/X channel today. So we're broadcasting live from there, but please check out our primary channel, which is at No Creds REQ. And on the podcast side, rate, review, comment, give us a 5-star rating. That'd be very helpful. Leave us a review on platforms such as our host, which is Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Podchaser. Comment in the comment section on Spotify. Also, leave a comment in the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, which is where this is going to be broadcast a little bit later today. I'm going to post it on the this afternoon. So check it out check out the game after Army Navy. Go Navy, beat Army.
All right, all right. I'll throw my support behind Navy because there's a few people, but I got to give a little shout out. My dad, he was in the Army, so I got to give a little love to Army as well.
Yes, and we'll also give a little love to one of our affiliate sponsors, which is veteran owned, by the way, a little bit later in the show. And we're a live show Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern, also Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We want your comments in the comments section. We want you to interact with us during the show, during the live stream, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Twitter, or on our YouTube channel. But again, this will be posted on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel this afternoon. And I know it's the holiday season, and it always makes me feel jolly, Dustin, when I play this particular tune.
Have a holly jolly chime time.
It's the best time of the podcast.
Oh, there we go. There we go. I thought you were going to...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, it was fine. It was fine. I thought you were going to play the chime, which is why I paused, but I didn't expect you to finish the line. Well done. Well done.
You're welcome. We do have some comments in the comment section we got to acknowledge. James joining us from New Jersey saying, "Good morning, gents." He says, "An alternative goalie, alliterative goalie was traded to an alliterative team. What a world." Stuart Skinner to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay. Yep. Now I'm with him because I was like, "Where's the alliteration?" But now I got it.
You're right. That's right. And Kevin, your cohort from Seahawks session, saying, "Go Navy, beat Army." Yes, go Navy, beat Army.
Of course, Kevin's a Navy man. Shout out to you, Kevin. Thank you for your service. And I'm going to listen to the show because it sounds like I missed an all-timer.
Get him, Goaty. Get that donkey. Get that donkey right in his butt. All right, we're going to start off.
Wow.
Going off the rails already. We're going to start off our show with reviewing Thursday. We're reviewing Thursday night's game between the Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. The Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons, who have nothing to play for except for Raheem Morris's job. If you caught shout out to our guy Morgan Man from the Stacey Morgan from the Morgan Man Sports Podcast. I listened to his preview. He picked the Falcons to win because of course, but he got it right. He picked the Falcons to win, and they won in, and they shocked the football world for Thursday, 29-28 with a field goal at the death by Zane Gonzalez. Dustin, let's get your thoughts on this game. I didn't watch much of this game because I had some other plans. I had evening plans. I watched a little bit of the game, then I got bored and I went to bed. And I woke up a little bit later and I saw the score and I went, "Oh my goodness!" Let's get your thoughts on this game.
Well, similarly to you, Ryan, most Thursdays I have plans, but next Thursday, not to fear everybody, the Seahawks are playing the Rams next Thursday. I will be there and I'm ready. But for this game, I have a couple of questions regarding this game, but this is a shock. It's an early candidate for the biggest upset, depending on what happens on Sunday, obviously. But have the Falcons finally unlocked Kyle Pitts? He had he was massive in this game, Ryan. And I know you got some stats, so I'm going to let you handle that when you talk about this game. But the question I have for you, Ryan, and everybody in the chat, and anybody that's watching later, put your response in the YouTube comments. Is this a case of coaching, correct utilization, or scheme, which is partially what I think it is, because I don't think Arthur Smith his offenses confounded people. Or is Kyle just starting to put it together? Is this finally this season where he's putting it together? Because this game was massive for him, but he has quietly become a productive tight end and a cog in this offense over the last few games, especially since Drake London went out. So he's really taken the role, and you're starting to see why the Falcons spent that high pick on him. He was 4th overall, but it wasn't just Kyle Pitts in this game. Bijan Robinson, he heard us call him out a few weeks ago because when we questioned whether he should be an MVP, he really kind of went on a slide after that. But now he reminded us kind of why, because he had 93 yards rushing and a touchdown, but he was also massive in the receiving game. He was another target for Kirk Cousins, and he had 8 receptions for 82 yards. Yeah. And Kirk Cousins also, I would argue this was his best game as a Falcon, at least as I remember. He looked better than he has for largely a lot of his Atlanta tenure in this game. But really the big reason that the Falcons were able to pull this upset off is there's 2 kind of factors. And the first one for me is that they pressured Baker Mayfield. They got after him. They do have some people that can rush the passer. Pierce, who had a sack early of Baker in this game, he almost sacked Sam Darnold in the end zone last week. And Atlanta's defense kept them in the Seahawks game for the first half. So Atlanta's starting to put together a pass rush, and they don't necessarily have to blitz to do it. But Baker was clearly frustrated in this one. He threw a pick. He was sacked 5 times by the Falcons, which usually the Bucs offensive line historically protects him better than that. He threw for 277 yards and 2 TDs, but he also had a pick, and his completion percentage 19 of 34. It's not very good, not by his standards. And he's kind of sliding from the form early in the season where people were questioning whether he should be the MVP. I mean, that game early in the season, I think it was trying to remember if it was weeks.
It was early October. It was a Monday night game.
Yeah, and there was the game against the Seahawks where the Bucs also had their 76 unis in that one. He and Sam Darnold, they went back and forth for a shootout, and Baker won that shootout because it was unbelievable. Yep. And I agree with you, Ryan. Those Bucs unis, they should use them more often. And I like the Falcons old school unis too. Yeah. I like that whenever they bring the look, but this is a shocking upset. And shout out to Raheem Morris a little bit because we've called him out saying, he's a defensive coach, but his Falcons defense really doesn't have an identity. They got after it in this one, and they're a big reason, along with Kyle Pitts and Bijan, that this upset happened.
Before I continue, yes, Kevin Wilson saying we really went off the rails last night on Seahawks sessions. Be sure to check it out.
So I heard, Kevin. So I heard. And congratulations. Also, I know you're out of town celebrating, an anniversary of sorts with your wife. So enjoy that.
There you go. Also, before today's game, Dustin, speaking of Army Navy, you gotta check out these uniforms that Nike and Under Armour made for Army and Navy. They are so clean. Oh goodness! It's commemorating the 250th anniversary of the armed services. So, because the armed services this year is their 250th anniversary. So, thank you for your service, everyone who has served, whether you're immediate family, or distant family, or just someone who I just happened to meet. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you very much. Country. Your sacrifices do not go unnoticed. You are the reason we are able to do what we can do today. And Ryan, just a quick on-air production meeting. When we bring back the list, in the spring, when football season is over, we should do a list on our favorite uniforms. The best uniforms. We'll do that.
Okay, so do we break it down by category, by sport, like best football, best hockey, best basketball, best baseball, or do you just straight up do? All right, here's our five favorite uniforms of all time.
You know what? Being that sometimes when the NFL's not in season, we're looking for content. Let's break it down by sport.
Okay, cool. By the way, after the NFL season begins, we're going to transition into Olympic hockey, which I understand. If you've taken a look at the unfinished arena,
oh man,
it doesn't even look halfway done.
Oh,
I know Italy is very we're just going to play it cool. We'll get to it when we get to it, but February's coming.
Close. Yeah,
February's coming, folks. Like, do you want us to help you out? Like, do you want American construction workers to help you out? Because we will. I mean,
man, It's going to be a Sochi all over again. I
Oh
can
my
feel it.
gosh.
I can
Oh my
feel it.
gosh. All right. So my thoughts on this game. Falcons shocking the Buccaneers. Let's talk about this game. Did the Falcons blow up the NFC South? Because we talked about this on Wednesday when we said, you know, the Buccaneers, the Carolina Panthers. The Buccaneers are in a tailspin right now. They finished they started fast, then the injuries started to pile up and the bad play started to pile up. And now they've lost what? 6 of their last 8 games. They're in a tailspin real fast. And Carolina Panthers, who look, I said Carolina was going to finish second in this division this year. I just didn't imagine how close this division race would be and coming up until week 15. And this game exemplified how nutty this division really is.
Yeah.
First things first. I love the retro looks for both teams. Love them. Love the retro looks. Although I think the Buccaneers, I think they should have worn their road uniforms to commemorate the 50th anniversary, the 50th season of the Buccaneers. I know some Buccaneers fans would rather not harken back to the Hugh Culverhouse days. If you've watched Urinating Trees documentary about the Hugh Culverhouse days of the Buccaneers, they were wild. They were absolutely wild. Let's just put it that way. But aesthetics aside, I love the road. I love the retro uniforms. Aesthetics aside, this was the kind of game you want to see on Thursday nights. This is the kind of game you want to see where it's kind of back and forth. Defense is making plays. Offense is making plays. Special teams doing their thing. And you want these games to come down to the wire. And this is exactly what these Thursday night games needed. This is a kick in the butt that every so often you get those Thursday night games that are like, okay, I'm going to remember this one for a long time. And this is one of those games you're going to remember, especially if you're a Buccaneers fan for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this Falcons team. The offense had a great night. Bijan Robinson almost had 100 yards rushing. I think he had 95 yards rushing. Kirk
93.
93. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kirk Two Chains Cousins came to play. Because natural grass is awesome and field turf sucks. Is still a little sloppy with the rain, but that's okay. Sometimes you need a little mud in your life to get things going. But Kirk Cousins, almost 400 yards passing, 383 yards passing, and Kyle Pitts had a game. We've talked about Kyle Pitts, how I wouldn't say underwhelming. Like, I feel bad for the dude. He had high expectations coming out of University of Florida, was regarded as, and he was the highest at the time. I believe he still is the highest drafted tight end in the history of the NFL draft.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Arthur Smith couldn't do anything with him when he was there. And Raheem Morris and his offensive staff still trying to figure him out. Not really sure why, but Kirk Cousins seemed to have some chemistry with young Mr. Pitts in this game, to the tune of 11 receptions on 12 targets for 166 yards and 3 touchdowns. Those 3 touchdowns tied the all-time record for a single game for the Atlanta Falcons with one Algie Crumpler. Remember that
I was
guy?
going to say, is it Crumpler? I loved Algie
Crumpler,
man. And also Charlester Crumpler, a lesser-known Crumpler, but a Crumpler nonetheless.
That's true. Now I want a donut with Crumpler's Donuts.
Oh man, they should start a shop.
You gotta start it, man. Come on. You're welcome, by the way. I want some royalties and some donuts out of that. Anyway, besides Pitts, we got to talk about the Atlanta Falcons defense. The Atlanta Falcons defense played well. Yes, they gave up 28 points, but they managed to play bend don't break defense for much of the game. They sacked Baker Mayfield to the tune of 5 times.
Yeah.
Which you need to do in these type of games. But the biggest play was D. Alford's interception of Baker Mayfield late in the fourth quarter, which turned into a touchdown, which brought the Falcons within 2. And the defense needed to get one more stop. This is the time that defenses are made to get not so much prevent points from being scored unless there's dominant defenses out there.
Yeah,
Broncos are an example of that. They get after the quarterback. They're probably gonna break the single season sacks record this year. we've seen defenses in the past, the Ravens in the 2000s, the Bears, the Giants. We've seen all those defenses who are dominant. But defenses exist to make plays, to get the ball back so you have a chance to win. Mm-hmm. And the Falcons did this in this game. They got a stop. They stopped the Buccaneers on their final offensive possession. Got the ball back. They drove down the field. They got within field goal range. Then Zane Gonzalez kicks the field goal at the death to win this game and send the NFC South into complete chaos. And I'm waiting for his name to appear in the chat. Because when I say chaos, you know what happens.
Yes.
But this game, also, gotta say, by the way, welcome back, Mike Evans. Welcome back, Mike Evans. I actually made the decision in fantasy, even though last week I got swept by you in the Pick'em Challenge. I beat you in fantasy football.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yes.
Chemical toilet's been on a slide. Injuries are tough.
We're built for this issues in the playoffs. I got Mike Evans back for the playoff run. I think this is the last week before the playoffs begin. I think there's still 3 teams who are still vying for a playoff berth, and they're all like 3-11 right now.
Oh man, I'm definitely in the playoffs.
You're in the playoffs. You're in the playoffs. I'm in the playoffs by virtue of like one of the worst playoff records. But I got Mike Evans back for my playoff run, hopefully to repeat in our league this year. 6 receptions, 132 yards. Yeah, just an average Mike Evans day.
Yeah.
But he's back. He's back.
He's back. It's great to see him on the field again. And he plays still with such a grit, man.
Yeah.
Like he's got unbelievable talent, but he also plays with grit. And it's interesting that you bring him up because I was driving back. I did hear the end of this game, and then I turned it on and I saw Mike Evans' reaction to this loss. He was heated about this loss. And I mean, that's what you want. You know, that's the kind of player. Mike Evans plays with passion. He plays with drive. He's a tough as nails receiver. And he's also, we knew he was going to be great from the moment he caught a pass in this league. It's been great.
Yeah, he's been great. Some more comments in the comment section. Some about this game, some not about this game. James saying I'm always up for some uniform chat. Yeah. Hey, we'll let you know when we're going to talk about uniforms. Maybe we'll do a uniform. Maybe after. All right, on our production meeting.
All right.
March should be like March before the baseball season begins. That should be like uniform talk month.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's good. That's good because the NBA will be going in full swing. Hockey will still be going. Then you got then you're ramping up for the draft, so you could start talking NFL, and then you got baseball, of course.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Kevin saying, "What a crash by the Bucs! They lost to the Saints and Falcons, both at home." Oof.
Yeah. That's.
Well, if the Bucs don't make the playoffs, that means it's a good thing for the NHL because that means they can get their stuff in for the Stadium Series. It's gonna in January.
Oh,
it's gonna be at Raymond James Stadium. That's gonna be interesting. Uniforms were on. He also says uniforms were on point though. Absolutely, you gotta love the creamsicle. You gotta love the old school Atlanta Falcons red helmets from back in the day. It's so good, so good. Mm-hmm. And then James chiming in with Chemical Toilet sounds like an early 2000s alternative rock band. Explain why your team is called the Chemical Toilet.
So I've watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't think it's a secret. Ryan and I are fans, although I'm a little behind. I'm thinking about rewatching the show from the beginning and getting current on seasons. I was keeping up with seasons, but then I just, whatever, life happened, things fell off. But I am a fan of the show. And in that show, they decided to come up with some band names for some various projects. And I decided one year that I was going to use each one of those band names for my fantasy team name for Ryan's league that I've been in for years now. And I started out a year with Pecan Sandies, and then true to form,
which was still great.
It was. For
the Pecan Sandies.
Yeah, and we'll let the teenagers bop with us. All right. Then I decided, all right, it's year 2 of this plan. I'm switching to chemical toilet. And then somebody who joined the league that year used electric dream machine. So I kind of had to pivot. And I decided that, chemical toilet is just a classic because that's what Mac changed their band name to.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been rolling with chemical toilet for many years because, as Uncle Al told me, when you've got a classic like chemical toilet, you hang on to it like grim death. And I said, all right, I will. Chemical toilet forever.
Chemical toilet. I changed my name from year to year. So
yes, you do. One of yours was Hey Darnold.
Yep,
that was a classic one.
I think that was my 2020 team. I was Hey Darnold, and I used Kyle from South Park without his hat as the avatar.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was really good. One of mine that I was particularly proud of, I've been using it for a couple of years now in the Yahoo League that I'm in, Rock and Roll McDonald's. As soon as Coach Mike McDonald took over for the Seahawks, I said, all right, we're going to do Rock and Roll McDonald's. And if you've listened to Wesley Willis, you know what the other reference is.
I don't.
He had a song called Rock and Roll McDonald's.
Okay.
I
don't know who that musician is. So
well, if you want to go down a Wesley Willis rabbit hole down the show after the show, go down it and see what you think. He was a very interesting man, very interesting.
Is he anything like Sturgill Simpson?
No, he is
different.
Not.
Is he more acoustic?
I don't know how to describe Wesley Willis.
Take a listen.
You'll just have to take a listen. He has a song about Big Macs. He has a song about rock. He has Rock and Roll McDonald's. He has songs about things, and he used to headbutt people in line before his shows. My cousin was really into Wesley Willis. I do not think he is alive anymore, so R.I.P. Wesley. But Rock and Roll McDonald's, I still remember.
I did discover on a whim a group called the Texas Toast Chainsaw Massacre. And they have a song called I Want to Pet Your Dog. It's hysterical.
All right. I will
go watch the video.
Yeah, all right. I will fire that up. Some of these band names, like I was into a band for a while, the Tony Danza tap dancing extravaganza. That was a good
We got a break, folks. We'll be right. Stand by and stay tuned for more No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air roasted, 100% money back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. Well, today's the Army-Navy game, folks. One of the great games of in college football. Period. It's the only game in FBS or Division 1A that gets played this in the calendar. I'm gonna be watching. It's gonna be a fun game. It's from Baltimore, Maryland. Next year it's gonna be at MetLife Stadium. I'm thinking about going to the game.
Oh wow! Okay.
Maybe I can convince my brothers to go along. We'll do like a brothers trip.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be really cool. But because today's Army Navy, we have to shout out our affiliate sponsor for this episode of No Credentials Required, and that is Invader Coffee, which is a veteran-run coffee company. They make outstanding coffee. I'm drinking one of my favorite holiday blends, Bad Santa, this morning.
Oh, it's classic.
So good. So good. They have so many other blends, but the holiday blends I always get into, particularly the Bad Santa. Oh, excuse me. Particularly the Bad Santa. But they got other blends out there, like their regular blends, such as the OG, they have a new blend.
I saw this.
The Shadow Blend.
Yeah, it's a collaboration.
Yes, a collaboration. You could win a free pistol. That's pretty cool. And this is what they said. I'm reading the ad. I'm reading it right now. I'll do the ad read. Invader is teaming up with Shadow Systems, a designer and manufacturer of premium firearms and firearm parts, to give you some new delicious coffee with 2 bonuses: a discount on Shadow Systems products and multiple chances to win a free CR920 XR pistol. And later in it says, "Yep, it's just like Willy Wonka's golden ticket, but cooler." And it gives you the description of the firearm, and you have a chance to win, be entered to win said pistol. But you also get their Shadow System limited batch blend, which is a collaboration with said company. So actually might order some, but they've also got a lot of their other blends. The Bad Santa's is still available. Cookie Crumble's available. The OG whiskey blend is currently sold out, but you can always sign up to get notifications when it's available. The Black Heart blend, which is their espresso blend, break in case of emergency. And that's not all. You could also buy a bag of coffee for a deployed military member. They work alongside the Move America Forward Foundation, because the last thing you want on the battlefield, when you're fighting terrorists, when you're fighting the enemy, last thing you want before you go to battle is a crappy cup of coffee. And this is not a crappy cup of coffee. Invader Coffee, 100% air roasted beans, takes out all that nasty acidity, all that nasty stuff that you associate with coffee. And it's a great blend. It's a great blend. I tried them out before they became an affiliate sponsor. You can do no wrong with Invader Coffee. So the best coffee I've ever had, period. So here's what you want to do. In the description, the link in the description on the podcast side and on the YouTube side, hit that affiliate link. It helps our show a little bit with every order, but you can also use promo code BELLYUP at checkout to get 15% off your order. Your order ships in a matter of days, not weeks. So they're fresh, and the beans are freshly roasted, delivered to your door, whether you want them whole bean or ground. I prefer them whole bean because I do the grinding myself. Guarantees me a nice fresh cup of coffee every single time I break open a bag of Invader Coffee. And again, some of the best coffee you'll ever try. So go to our affiliate link in the description. Helps out our show a little bit. Again, makes a great holiday gift. Holidays are here. Christmas shopping season's here. Hanukkah shopping season's here. You want to get somebody a nice gift, a stocking stuffer. Invader Coffee is the way to go, especially for the coffee enthusiast in your life. So hit our link in the description, our affiliate link in the description. Use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Get 15% off your order. And Invader Coffee, as always, they get the no credentials required seal of approval. It's good old puppers. I would not recommend giving puppers a cup of coffee.
No.
We did that once, and oh boy. Let's just say the cleanup wasn't very pretty. Moving on, getting back to the rest of the topics of our show, we're going to talk about the most intriguing matchup of Week 15. And my most intriguing matchup in Week 15 is not a game that you would think. It actually carries over from our previous segment in the NFC South. The Panthers visit the New Orleans Saints. Revenge game. Revenge is on the mind of the Carolina Panthers, because after they got a big win against the Cowboys, they crapped back in I think Week 8, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check that real quick. They pooped the bed against the Saints the next week. They scored early. They scored early. They scored their first possession, and then the rest of the game they played like absolute garbage. I'm sorry, that was the big win against the Packers. So I
oh yes,
that was when they went to Lambeau and absolutely shocked the Packers and held them to 13 points. But they dropped the ball literally and figuratively against the Saints the next week. When we talked about the Saints team, we've mentioned this season, their record, their play on the field, with the exception of a couple of games here and there, does not reflect the record that they currently have. I think it's 3-11. This Saints team plays tough. And I know they haven't had a whole lot of luck at home this year. They have only one win at home this year at the Caesars Superdome. But this is a game. The Panthers are coming off not only a big win against the Rams, but they're also coming off a bye week. So everybody's fresh. Everybody's healthy. You do not have an excuse to be absolute garbage in this, play like absolute garbage in this game. Dave Canales has got to recognize the moment. The moment is right now. They win this game. They take over sole possession of first place in the NFC South. That's how chaotic 2025 season has been. And you not only have first place, but you have first place going into next week when they play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. So, man, I got my eye on this game. And, like I said, Saints are a tougher matchup than everybody thinks. We saw it last week in Tampa Bay when they stole that game against the Buccaneers. And they stole the game. They stole their game against the Carolina Panthers about a month ago after their big win. So that's my most intriguing matchup in Week 15. Dustin, what is yours?
Well, much like your game, Ryan, my most intriguing matchup has divisional ramifications. Ooh. For me, it's the Patriots versus the Bills. It is This game decides the division, I think. A lot has been made of the ease of the Patriots' schedule this season. That's one of their main critiques, but call it what you will. The Patriots, as Parcells says, you are what your record says you are. The Patriots have won largely against teams that they're supposed to beat. We argue that all the time in the NFL. A win is a win. Now, the Bills have looked less dominant in recent years than they have in years past, or less dominant this year than they have in years past. And they have some surprising losses, like to the aforementioned Falcons on Monday Night Football. But the combination of Josh Allen and James Cook is still enough to put up points. And also Josh is starting to get the tight ends really involved there in Buffalo. And that's kind of helping fill the void of their missing number one receiver. No disrespect to anyone on the Bills. Now, the Patriots are coming off the bye, and sometimes teams look a little sloppy coming off the bye. And I'll be very curious to see how Drake May, which I gave his name, I noticed a spelling error in the doc here. I called him Dark A May. He is not Darko Milicic.
Darth May.
Yeah. But Drake May and the Patriots, how will they look after the bye? And if I know Stephon Diggs at all, I think he'll be motivated to show Josh Allen and say, hey, you should have kept me in Buffalo because it could have worked out better. Who knows? I mean, apparently there was some friction there between Allen and Diggs, but I think Diggs is going to be motivated to put up a big game against his former team. Drake May has looked like an absolute home run for the Patriots at quarterback, and their Patriots backfield, who's going to be getting the rock? But we mentioned it. Nobody expected the turnaround for the Patriots to go this quickly. They spent huge in free agency. They brought in Mike Vrabel, and so far it seemed to pay off. And right now they're the kings of that division. But I think Buffalo's still going to try to come up and take the crown. I'll be wondering how Buffalo's defense is going to do, because at times they've looked like a dominant unit, and then at other times they've got absolutely blown off the field. So this game is going to be an interesting one for me.
I hope both teams lose, but mostly the Patriots. But also, I just read this morning that Josh Allen and his wife Haley Steinfeld are expecting their first child. So congratulations to Josh and Haley.
Congratulations to them both. And
to Josh Allen and one-time Jared from Corner Booth crush Haley Steinfeld.
One time. He's moved on.
He's moved on. She's married. He's moved on. All right, we're moving on to our friends and family games of the week. This is the games that we are not going to watch because we're going to watch Red Zone instead. Dustin, what's your friends and family game of the week?
Oh, I feel so bad, man. But it's Raiders-Eagles, okay? I know. I keep picking the same teams for this segment. And did I almost pick the Titans-Niners this week? Yes. But I couldn't do it. It's Raiders-Eagles. Ironically, both teams are teams that Chip Kelly had a coaching position on at one time or another. But even with the Eagles offensively reeling the way they are, they should still be able to dispatch with a Raiders team that is floundering offensively. They have all season, with the exception of that now more surprising Week 1 win over the Patriots. And and moments in that Jaguars game from a few weeks ago, but they have Kenny Pickett under center starting for the Raiders. While some may argue he'll perform better than Geno has this season. It's been a very rough season for Geno Smith in Vegas this year. So who knows? Maybe Kenny Pickett will inject a little life. He's playing against the Eagles. He's going to be motivated. It's a team that he used to be on. And, I think he has a vendetta against the whole state of Philadelphia after his time on the Eagles and his time on the Steelers. I know he was not happy to be let go by the Steelers, but Kenny Pickett is back under center for the Raiders. And while the Eagles offense has been struggling, and we've talked about how much they've been struggling, and we've talked about, is it the players? Is it Kevin Patullo, et cetera, et cetera? Guess what unit is not struggling, Ryan? Their defense. So I think the Raiders are in trouble for this one.
I will say this about this game. I really hope it turns into the game of the year.
That would be fantastic.
Because we've had several times this season where we have said this game is absolute dog's breakfast. Shout out to Rod Peterson for that, by the way. Got to get him back on too.
Oh, for sure.
We've previewed games where we think they're going to be absolute dogs, an absolute dog's breakfast, and they've been awesome. So I hope the reverse jinx happens here, because if Kenny Pickett beats the Eagles, I'll be laughing as Philadelphia burns.
Oh, man. Well, oh, my God. Ryan, you and I will predict it. We will be texting back and forth feverishly.
Oh, my gosh.
But I
may leak those screenshots. I may leak those messages on social media. Because content, baby, content.
But you're right. I mean, look at Titans Browns last week. I can't remember. I think I picked that one, and it was a great game. It was a great game. I thought it was going to be the friends and family, and it was a great game because the Titans offense showed up.
Jets Bengals was the same way.
Well,
a couple of games this season have been like this. James says, I don't blame you for this one, Dustin. I'm glad I'll be asleep for this one. He also says, if Kenny Pickett does a Kyler Murray, just forfeit the rest of the season and delete the franchise. He's referring to the Eagles, by the way.
Yes.
But yeah, if Kenny Pickett beats and the Raiders beat the Eagles, it'll be so funny. Although, again, we both had the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So
we did. We did.
So we're sorry, Philadelphia and Baltimore. You guys got that no credentials required stink on you. My friends and family game of the week: Jets at Jaguars. I'm gonna say it. Jets and Jaguars. UDFA, undrafted free agent Brady Cook will be starting for the New York Jets. I knew it was going to happen sometime at some point this season. I said to myself, we're going to have injuries, and this quarterback play is not going to be great. At some point during the season, Brady Cook's going to play. And here we are, week 15. Brady Cook is making his first start as a New York Jet with Adrian Martinez, who was on the practice squad last year for the Jets. He will be the backup. He was on he was in camp on the practice squad. He was in the 49ers practice squad, got released by them, back with the Jets, so he's familiar with the system. But I have a feeling we're going to see 4 quarterbacks in the Jets this season again. Oh, God.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm watching Red Zone. Because if you look at the lines, guess how many points the Jaguars are favored by this week?
I'm gonna say they're favored by 10. 14?
A little
lower. All right, 12.
13.5. It's not the biggest line this season by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a big enough line because of how the Jaguars have been playing. And remarkably, the Eagles are only a 12.5 point favorite against the Raiders.
Oh, man.
I thought it would be bigger.
Yeah.
That's what she said. But yeah, if you're a Jets fan, you're not looking forward to this one. Although, again, we've had games that looked like absolute dogs when we previewed them be absolutely great. So I'm hoping for the reverse jinx on this one, the Jets win. But if Jets win, would also affect their draft standing. And I know a lot of fans are saying, tank, we're going full tank, baby. Let's just play the game, see how they play out, because this is an evaluation period for next year too. But this is not going to be a pretty game, I think. To which I say, thank God for NFL Red Zone.
And also Scott Hansen. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Again, 7 hours of NFL football just still doesn't.
I know.
It's not as good as 7 hours of commercial-free football. Thanks, ESPN.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Players to watch in Week 15 of the NFL. And I'm looking at two players playing in the same game. It's the Broncos Packers. Bo Nix for the Broncos. Broncos have kind of skated by, and you talked about it in the last segment, one of the last segments with the Patriots. Easy schedule.
Yeah,
they're skating. It seems like they're skating by in an easy schedule, but like Bill Parcells said, your record says who you are, and the Broncos, they've reeled off 10 wins in a row, as had the Patriots. Or the Patriots have reeled off 11 games in a row, or wins in a row. But the Packers are coming into town. And what a lot of people are saying could potentially be a Super Bowl matchup. But I want to see how Bo Nix plays in this game. It'll be a true test against this Packers defense. Because this Packers defense is pretty good. They got ball hawks in the secondary. They got pretty ferocious, like the Broncos. They have a pretty ferocious pass rush. To which, on the other side of the ball, and shout out to our tribal chief, Wise El Jefe.
Can't have him locked up. He's important to the defense.
On the other side of the ball, I'm looking at Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, because again, he's important to the defense. He's been a key part of this pass rush for the Packers this year. Bo Nix has only been sacked 16 times this season. This offensive line for the Broncos has done a tremendous job protecting him. And also, give credit to Bo Nix and his ability to scramble and make plays and get first downs. But he's only been sacked 16 times this season, which is pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'll have an eye on both the pass rush of the Packers, particularly Micah Parsons. And I'll have my eye on Bo Nix to see if he can dial up some specialness against the Green Bay Packers at home. Dustin, who are your players to watch in Week 15?
Well, I'm taking a page from your book, Ryan, and both players come from the exact same game. And I mean, come on, when you heard the news and they're playing my team, the Seattle Seahawks. I don't own the team, but I love the team. I follow them. They are my team. Could it be anybody else? I'll be watching Phillip Rivers. Because yes, Phillip Rivers is 44 years old. Yes, he is a grandpa. But Phillip Rivers, the thing is, I don't know what kind of shape he's kept himself in. I mean, he also, if you watch his press conferences, watch them. They're pretty funny. He does not know what kind of shape he's in. But I am willing to bet that he can still throw it. And this is a version of an offense that he played in for 17 years. So he's going to be able to grasp the playbook. But the problem is he has no time to develop chemistries with the Colts receivers. I understand why the Colts did what they did. They needed to bring in somebody because Anthony Richardson, he's still having vision problems. It's very troubling what's happened to him. I talked Wednesday's show about what happened to Daniel Jones and just the horrible end to his season for him. And now the kid from Notre Dame had a knee injury, so they had to do something. But some people are wondering why they didn't reach out to Cam Newton. Cam's younger, but I would say to that, Phillip had experience with this franchise and also the playbook. The playbook is a variation of the system that he's been in for 17 years. This is going to be morbid curiosity for me, Ryan, because I want to see if Phillip can do something. But I also, it keys, and shout out to Wise once again, defensively.
I can't have him locked up. He's important to the defense.
I will be watching the entire Seahawks pass rush because if they cannot get after Phillip Rivers, they have, call me a homer if you want, Seattle is one of the best defensive units in the entire NFL this season, okay?
He's not wrong.
The Texans are better. Can you name too many other teams that are better?
The Broncos, I would argue probably the Rams. But continue. Sorry.
Yes. So
I can name a few, but
they're at
Seahawks
least
are up
top 4, I would say. Pass rush, they're not. I think last time I looked it up, I think they were top 7 in the league, which kind of surprised me. They didn't have as many sacks as I thought they would. Now they've gotten some big sack totals since I looked it up. So the standings may have changed, but the Broncos, the last time I looked it up, they were number 1 with a bullet. The Broncos really get sacks. But if Byron Murphy, sorry, and Uchenna Nwosu and Nicky Minwori and Devin Witherspoon are healthy on the field together for the first stretch this season, and we saw it last game, both of them got sent on blitzes at times. Nwosu, everybody, and Lawrence, they all got to be licking their chops because Phillip Rivers was never known for his mobility anyway. If the Seahawks don't get a bunch of sacks in this game, I will be shocked. So I will be very curious to see how the Seahawks pass rush does. And on the other side, it's Phillip Rivers because I'm so curious to see what he will look like.
Okay. So a couple things. I did look it up. The Seahawks are 4th in the league in sacks.
Okay. So yes,
So
I was right. They've jumped a few spots.
It's Denver with 55, Atlanta 48, Cleveland with 44, Seattle with 41, Detroit with 37.
Okay.
So they're top 5. So, and I looked at the injury report for the Colts. Riley Leonard was a full practice participant this week. So it looks like he's going to play, but I would not discount an appearance by Big Unc Phillip in this game if Riley Leonard does not have a great game. Shout out to Eli Betts in the chat saying, good morning, fellas. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday
good morning
to you as well,
you.
Eli.
Happy
Appreciate
Saturday.
you stopping by, fellow Jets fan. Eli, if you go back, my friends and family game of the week was Jets Jaguars because Brady Cook's starting. And it's not going to be pretty.
You don't think he can cook something up, Ryan? I'm sorry, I had to do it.
He might burn something. But all right, we're going to move along to our final segments of this particular episode of No Credentials Required. We're going to talk about our picks for our Cut the Breaks Pick'em Challenge.
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah! What?
All right, here are our picks for Week 15 of our Cut the Breaks Pick'em Challenge, presented by Royal Retros, the king of throwbacks. Go to royalretros.com. Use promo code CREDHEAD at checkout. You get 10% off your order. And any order over $100, you get free shipping. And again, use our promo code to get 10% off. Dustin has the Eagles, the Texans, and his upset pick. He's picking the Lions over the Rams, although I think it's the jinx against the Rams because of the Seahawks being right behind them in the standings. That's just my guess. I have picked the Jaguars, the 49ers, my upset pick, and I almost threw up as I typed that. I have the Dolphins over the Steelers on Monday Night Football. The Dolphins are playing pretty well right now, and I have a feeling they're going to pull off a big upset on Monday night. They're a 3-point dog, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to take a look real quick just to make sure my facts are right. And they are currently, yes, a 3-point dog in this game. So, and because Steelers are at home, let's see if the Dolphins can win another game when the game temp is under 40 degrees.
Yeah.
Because at kickoff, it's going to be 22.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Frigid for those Dolphins. But Ryan, I was surprised just like you. And I know I can see what you're doing in these picks because I know the only way you would pick the Dolphins is if you feel you're picking like a man who is not ahead by 3. You're picking like a man who's like desperate to recover after last week. But the Lions, I checked before the show, they are a 6-point underdog against the Rams, which I just think is a touch too much. With offensively what the Lions can do, I think that's a touch too much.
Yeah. I'm also very surprised that the NFL didn't flex out the Vikings-Cowboys Sunday night game.
Yeah.
Which, NFL, man, what are you doing? The Vikings are garbage, and the Cowboys are the Cowboys. I understand it's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But
the reason I almost picked that game, Ryan, but the reason I didn't pick it is is because the Cowboys are the Cowboys, and also don't look now. The Vikings defense has been good the last few games. So I said I'm not going near that.
Yeah, I didn't go near that either because I have no interest. And and we have one of our cred heads who hasn't been showing up in our chat lately, but he seems to think that the Vikings are a good trade destination for Joe Burrow, and which I said I'm just like, brother, keep dreaming. And I got a question in the comments section from Eli saying, Ryan, why wouldn't the Jets elevate a practice squad wide receiver? Feels like that could have helped Cook because he was throwing to them all season. I don't have an answer for that. I just happen to think that he got first squad reps this week, so to get more comfortable with his receivers, particularly Adonai Mitchell, John Mechie III. Those are the guys who were traded at the trade deadline or near the trade deadline. They've done pretty well so far. I mean,
Yeah.
John Mechie has been their primary receiver in the slot, and Adonai Mitchell had a pretty decent game against the Ravens and not so much against the Dolphins this week, but hopefully this week with first team reps, Cook will develop more of a chemistry with some of his receivers, particularly Mitchell and Mechie, and also Mason Taylor too. He also says, I saw something about Denny Dimes to the Vikings. Well, Denny Dimes was a Vikings practice squad player last year, Eli, if you remember. So I don't think he's going to the Vikings. But again, he's a free agent after this season, and he just tore his Achilles. So I don't know why they would re-sign him. Maybe it's because familiarity with the system. But we don't. Crazier things have happened in free agency. And look, as for Joe Burrow, I have my own thoughts about where he'll wind up next year. Could he be in a Jets unit? Could he be?
I was going to say, is it green and white, Ryan?
Possibly. I have to make another video about that. Anyway, that's our pick. These are our picks for the Cut the Breaks Pick'em Challenge for Week 15 of the NFL.
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah! What?
And Eli's saying, I actually don't remember. Thank you for the reminder. LOL. Totally forgot that happened. You're forgiven.
It happens. It happens. It's tough.
It happens. Yeah. Memories these days, All right. Our favorite athletes to wear the number 91. And Dustin, I'm going to have you lead off with this one.
All right, Ryan, you're going to have some familiarity with this athlete because I believe you already picked him. And I think it was way, way back on episode 10.
Yes, it was.
I can't remember who I didn't pick for 10, but I was like, did I pick? Because I was going through. I will give you a glimpse behind the curtain. Your athlete who you're going to pick, I almost thought about picking him, but then I was like, Ryan's probably going to pick him. And then I was thinking, Ryan, about picking either Steven Stamkos or I was thinking about picking Kevin Green. But then with Kevin Green, I said, well, I really only saw him play on the Panthers towards the end of his career, and I most remember him from his run in WCW, so I can't really pick him.
He did have the Hulk Hogan mullet for a long time, though.
Yes, he did. So I landed because I was like, I feel like we already, but then I remembered, I said, Ryan picked this man. I'm talking about the Worm, Rodzilla himself, who coincidentally also had a run in WCW, which was documented a little bit in the 1998 Last Dance season. That was documented as part of a documentary. If you haven't watched our review, go back into the archives. It's awesome. Now, Dennis Rodman, I don't have much to add other than what you stated on episode 10, but Rodman's importance to the Bulls speaks for itself. His importance as a rebounder, he was an absolute scientist rebounding the ball. He is a Hall of Famer. He is a two-time All-Star. I thought he would have had more All-Star appearances than that, but I looked it up. He is the 7-time total rebound champ. As I said, he was a expert rebounder, 5-time NBA champion, 2-time All NBA, 8-time All Defensive, two-time Defensive Player of the Year, and he was a member of the NBA 75th anniversary team. And I'm going to mention it. He wore 91 for the Bulls, by the way, because he wore some different numbers throughout his career. He wore 10 for the Pistons and I think the Spurs, which is why Ryan picked him. He picked him from those Pistons days. And I remember likening him to Mike Tyson. I think Rodman lost a little bit of guidance once he was traded from Detroit, and Chuck Daly was such a huge influence on him and keeping him. Chuck Daly knew how to manage Dennis Rodman, and he had a bumpy road in San Antonio and on some other teams once he was traded from Detroit. And Dennis himself has been very vocal about he wasn't in a good mental state when he was traded from Detroit. He kind of had a bumpy few years, but then he came to the Bulls. And go back and watch The Last Dance. Michael Jordan and the rest of the Bulls players are very vocal about how important Dennis was to keeping the motor going on that team. He gave them a spark at times when he needed it. And I talked about this before. Go back. Dennis, a lot of people get caught up in Dennis Rodman dyeing his hair and doing the things that he's doing and smoking cigars with Hollywood Hogan on WCW and missing practices. But when Dennis was locked in, he was as key to the Bulls' run as anybody. And listen to him break down the way he figures out where a ball's going to break on a rebound. It's otherworldly, and his athletic ability. And defensively, I think a big reason why Ryan and I do not watch the NBA as much as we used to, defense is gone in the NBA these days. It's gone. You don't have players like Rodman anymore. Rodman was a lockdown defender. Bruce Bowen, lockdown defender and a three-point specialist, but a lockdown defender a little later. But Rodman was one of those players. You could put him on somebody, and he's going to shut him down. So Rodman, one of the greatest NBA players ever, and he gets the honors for my favorite number 91.
All right. So, yeah, and Eli chiming in saying 90s basketball was awesome. Yes, it was. And the NBA product, this NBA product is garbage. Yes, it is. My favorite number 91, I had to go. Oh, and then James saying, even my mother, who doesn't watch sports at all, knew all about Dennis Rodman's antics. Yeah. I remember him in San Antonio. Like the only guy could really get a hold of him was Jack Haley, and he left this realm a few years ago, unfortunately. He's one of Rodman's best friends and big influence on him. Excuse me, off the court, trying to get him to on the court, on the court too. Like he's basically how the coaches have those guys who pull them back from the sidelines. Jack Haley was that guy. All right, my favorite number 91. I picked one of the greatest Russian players to ever play in the National Hockey League. That was Sergei Fedorov. Drafted in the 4th round of the 1988 draft by the Detroit Red Wings, was 71st overall. I don't think he ever played in Adirondack. Let me look at with the Adirondack Red Wings. Let me just look up his hockey DB stats real quick. I don't think he did. If I'm wrong, I apologize. He did not. He never played. Never played in Adirondack.
So Adirondack, they were the team that is now where the Thunder play, right? They played in the Civic Center at the time. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. The Detroit Red Wings were the Adirondack Red Wings were Detroit's minor league team from the late 70s through the early 2000s. And they moved them to Grand Rapids shortly after. And but Glens Falls hockey's got a great history behind it. I'll do a short story on them. But Sergei Fedorov, he's one of the players who defected from the Soviet Union, like Alexander Mogilny did as I mentioned in previous episode. Made his debut in 1990 after years with the Russian Red Army. He made the All-Rookie team, finished second in the Calder Trophy Rookie of the Year voting. That year, it was won by Sergei Makarov, fellow Russian Sergei Makarov, but it was controversial because he was 32 years old at the time, Sergei Makarov, and he's a rookie, and they had to change the voting because of Sergei Makarov, and they changed the voting Despite being 31 years old, he edged out other Calder Trophy winners. Actually, hang on a second here. Yeah, so I don't know. Anyway, but after that season, he made the all-rookie team. He started to establish himself as one of the best defensive forwards in the NHL. Won his first Selke Award in 1994. Also won the Hart Trophy that season. Became the first Russian-born player to win the Hart Trophy as the MVP of the league. And he's also voted the MVP by the players. Won the Lester Pearson Award. So he swept 3 awards that 1994 season. He had a 120-point season that season, 56 goals, 64 assists that year. Helped the Red Wings win their first Stanley Cup in 1997 since they broke a 42-year drought in 1997. They had won in 1955. Remember the octopus they would throw on the ice after every goal at Joe Louis Arena. He helped them win 2 more Stanley Cups in that dynasty. Key part of the Russian 5 unit with Igor Larionov, Slava Fetisov, Vladimir Konstantinov, and one of my favorite New Jersey Devils, who unfortunately got traded in 1995. He should have won a cup in 95 with the Devils. Slava Fetisov would go on to play with Anaheim, Columbus, and he finished his NHL career in Washington. He would actually finish his professional playing career in the KHL. And I have it right here. Who did he play with last? He played with CSKA Moscow, formerly the Red Army team. Finished his professional playing career in 2013. Was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2015 with fellow Red Wing Nick Lidstrom, Chris Pronger, Phil Housley, and former U.S. Olympic hockey player, women's hockey player, Angela Ruggiero. So that's my favorite number 91. I don't think any New Jersey Devils player has ever worn the number 91. And I couldn't think of a New York Jet who wore that number as well. So I went with the guy who I remember the most from watching my teens and 20s, and that was Sergei Fedorov. He was one of the best hockey players in North America at the time. He actually won fastest skater at the All-Star game in 92 and 94. And he won the hardest shot in 2002. So he's versatile player on both sides of the puck. Also, a fun fact about Sergei Fedorov: he had a cereal named after him in the 90s called Fedorov Crunch cereal.
Oh man, they should have called it Federos. Come on, dude. Come on. Whoever did the marketing behind that, talk to me. All right. Federos.
James chiming in with, of course, the Philadelphia Eagle. Oh, God, come on, James. Switch it up. So since Ryan beat me to Fedorov and going at Fletcher Cox, a monster at defensive tackle for 11 years, he could beat any lineman from any position. Should be a Hall of Famer when all is said and done. Also, there's plenty of good 91s in the NHL too. Stamkos, Tarasenko, Tavares, etc. I'm pretty sure any New York Islander would disagree in regards to Tavares. They'd probably spit in the ground as soon as they said his name. And coming in, Brother Josiah coming in saying, "Hi everyone, Saturday morning with Ryan and Dustin sounds like a great way to spend the morning." Thank you, brother.
Oh,
Josiah.
thank you, sir.
You.
Always happy to have you.
I know it's not I know he likes baseball talk more than football talk, but we still appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of No Credentials Required. Again, before we get out of here, just want to remind you to please follow us. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. You can also find other podcasts and written content at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can subscribe to the podcast and listen on any podcast platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and our host, which is Podbean, Freshly Brewed Podcasts. Hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube so you are notified when we go live, when we have show clips, when we have other announcements. Again, on our YouTube channel coming soon. We're going to record this next week. Going to start next week. We're going to preview every single round of the college football playoff. Me and a friend of the show, Tom Gazlowski from Fox Sports 980 Albany. before we get out of here, Eli saying, great work, fellas. Thanks again for the great stream. Thank you, Eli. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.
Again, I know it's not Jets exclusively Jets content, but we appreciate you stopping by anyway. But yeah, the college football playoff preview, we're going to do it we're going to have one every single week leading up to the championship game on January 19th. I might have to drag my buddy Jersey Jim Behringer to do an episode of 10 good minutes talking about these big trades in the NHL that happened yesterday. I'm pretty sure Dustin will have something to say about the Oilers trade once he kind of gets his wheels turning.
Yeah.
And he'll give you his perspective. Maybe we'll make that as a short or just a little thing. Eli saying Jets suck probably forever. Yeah, I don't know. I hope not.
Hopefully not. I'm for you guys' sake.
Look, I'm 40 plus years in as a Jets fan. I just want to see one before I die. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, sell a team, Woody. That's going to do it for this edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We're probably presented by Belly Up Sports. We'll be back on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll wrap up the week that was the NFL Week 15. We had to do some breakdowns of some playoffs because nobody's clinched a playoff berth yet.
That amazes me.
Although we could see it. We could see some change if New England beats the Bills this Sunday. They've clinched the East, and that's your first playoff spot. So, but yeah, it's just super crazy that we're 14 weeks in and nobody has clinched a playoff spot yet. But we'll talk about that on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, live on Facebook, on Twitter. We'll probably use Belly Up Twitter again, and on YouTube. Replay the next day on Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. We'll talk all about it. We'll put some more content on our YouTube page as well. But again, thanks for joining us on No Credentials Required. We'll be back on Tuesday. Enjoy the football. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy Army, Navy. Enjoy the other football games that are happening this weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday night. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you then.
Good morning, everybody.